I am not a fan of Shojo. I've tried a handful of times to get into it based on recommendations from people who really love it, and I just couldn't. It's way too touchy-feely, not very exciting to me, and the designs are generally not my thing. But this one was different. Somehow or another, this one was a much more enjoyable experience for me than the past few attempts. In those cases, I have picked up manga, including the manga for this series, read about one volume and realized, yeah, I'm not particularly interested. A Sign of Affection is the story of a deaf girl named Yuki, a college student. There's nothing remarkable, just a normal girl who happens to be deaf and have a run-in with a guy who's named Itsuomi, who happens to be a travel junkie who speaks multiple languages. That's really all the major events of the story I can relay to you without getting into some autistic level of detail. I'd say that this is kind of one of the things that I generally don't like about shoujo manga and anime. Most of them feel like not a lot happens. And this is generally because shoujo, particularly shoujo romance, focuses a lot on the building of relationships, the experience of falling in love, and the overall evolution of feelings and emotions. And now while shonen romances do the same thing, shows that I do very much enjoy, they don't make that the sole focus. And there's nothing especially wrong about the way shoujo handles all of that, particularly because it's generally what the target audience wants. However, I'm not a woman, and I'm not into the way it handles these things. I prefer other kinds of fiction. I think it was the use of chibi designs for small comedic accents that gave it the charm that I found enjoyable. It was little moments accented by well-timed art and animation choices that gave it that extra oomph that really made it stand out to me. It was these moments that really made me feel like the characters were properly endearing and something I could like, particularly the main character, who experiences the most of these kinds of augmentations. And while the female characters, I generally liked the designs of, the main guy Itsuomi looked kinda off to me. Something about how his face and mouth are proportioned made him seem like he was trying really hard to look handsome but failing. And I generally thought some of the plainer looking dudes had better looks, making me wonder why Itsuomi is the focus of this show. This one's a bit interesting when it comes to characters, because they're a little bit flatter than I would have liked. Yes, the main character is endearing because she's a little bit goofy and very sweet. The main guy, he's kind of nice, he takes an interest in this chick and goes out of his way to start learning sign language to communicate with her. He's generally very respectable towards her. And the childhood friend character is a total dick at times, or at least that's how he comes off. Otherwise, a lot of the other characters who are introduced seem very generic. Other romance stories have given me more to latch onto, and this one just doesn't do it for me. And as a shoujo series, it follows the trend of being a little too touchy-feely for my liking. It really focuses on sorting all those emotions out and trying to figure out what they are. Still, at least it's not beating around the bush for several seasons. Yuki knows she loves the guy already and is actively flirting with him. But the incoming element of another love interest looks like it's going to complicate things and pump the show with some of that relationship rivalry drama that I generally just don't care for. Still, while I do find it entertaining, it's hardly the most amazing thing I've ever watched. I give it like a 7 so far. It manages to not be completely boring, and the main character's reactions to everything have been my primary source of entertainment from it. She's really the charm of the show to me. And I will probably finish it eventually, but for now, it will get sidelined until I'm caught up on other anime. It's charming and cute, a good show that you can sit down and relax to without any hassle, but not my cup of tea. And that's all I've really got to say. If you like this video, please hit those magic subscribe and like buttons down below because those simple but free actions do really help me. And if you have thoughts to share, please leave them down in the comments. I hope to see you in the next one. Later.